Hey guys, happy Sunday. You know, this is a rare moment for me. So, we're going to have a quick train ride trending topics. It's so many horrific. I was actually kind of shocked. Stories going on, now. It's like insanely crazy. We got the Delta, airline situation. Okay, Sebastian, get that ticket. I'm at work, so I'll be misbehaving in the chat today. This live should be called Protect the Kids. You know what, Sebastian? Come on now. I'm going to have to do a consultation with you before I put up my lives. I'm going to have to change that title. Protect the kids. You ain't lying. Protect the kids, okay? So, yeah, yes. Hey, everybody, happy Sunday. Yep, a special train ride, Emmanuel, a special train ride. Because as Sebastian said, we need to protect the kids. This is an absolute insane joke, okay? We got the Delta story. Thanks, everybody, for coming through. And I thought I was going to be here solo. We got the Delta airline story. You know, I'm going to start this, figure out what are they pumping in the air on these airplanes, okay? We got the Delta airline story. I did a video earlier, but I want us to chat about it because I'm not feeling right in my soul. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. How do you serve a man 11 drinks? He's pissy drunk on the airplane. Now she's suing for $2 million. I would have been suing for $200 million. Okay, I would have been shutting Delta down. I promise you that. All right. Now, we got this fan. Oh my God, what is wrong with some of these parents? They literally had their kids in cages. Had the kids in cages. Okay. Unbelievable. So sad. Then we got another kid, another set of parents, right? Kid wasn't being fed. Had to jump out a window. I promise you, I ain't making this stuff up. Had to jump out a window so she could seek help and get some food. Okay, unbelievable. And then we got another kid in India. You want to do content so bad on the social media that you sell your baby for an iPhone? Whoo, child. I think, you know what? I don't want the government all up in my business, but you know what? I promise you this. Somebody needs to be checking on parents and checking on the kids, doing random wellness check. I'm sorry, because this is insane. Rebel says that Chronicles of Ray and Deer. I know that's right. I would have been suing for a lot more than $2 million. You and me both, and I would have shut that plane down. That plane would have landed midair. Okay, I would have involved everybody on that plane. Get out of here. You trying to touch my kid and me? It ain't going to go down like that. Now I'm going to board the train, okay, because there's some people on the platform who decided to hang out for a moment with me on a Sunday, okay? Hit the like button, everybody. Buy your ticket. Just because it's Sunday, that don't mean you get on this train for free. Hit that like button, all right? Hey, Bria.
Hola, Auntie. Happy Sunday, everybody. Hit that like button. Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Denzel. Hey,
Hey,
Emmanuel. Hey,
Denzel.
How you
everybody.
doing, everybody? Hi, Diva, everybody.
Hey. And that's why thank you, Claire, so much. Because you know what? We got to put a what in the chat. Choo choo. So I boarded the train with all of our people that are on the platform. Okay. Yes, look at Diva blessing us on a Sunday with trending topic special. Okay. It's a special, honey. It's a Sunday special. Now listen, guys. Okay. We got Robin in the building. Hey, Robin. Robin, can you hear us? Robin may not be able to hear us. Okay, we're going to keep going. Hopefully she'll get sound because I think she's going to have some good insight on these particular stories. Now we're going to share screen here. Okay, let me see. My screen is so full because there's so many stories on here. Okay, we're going to do this one first with the Delta Airlines because it's crazy. It's bananas, all right? So we got a drunk Delta passenger who was served 11 drinks. If everybody could just mute until I get through the story, it would help me out so I won't hear no background noise. Let me see. Can we just all mute there? All right. So let me see. Okay. So drunk Delta passenger who was served 11 drinks, SA'd a mom and a teen daughter on a 9-hour nightmare flight. And it's a lawsuit, okay? So a man on Delta Airlines flight downed at least 10 vodkas. And we got to look up the laws on this because how do you serve somebody 10 vodkas, one person? okay, and a glass of wine before groping a 16-year-old girl and her mother, according to the lawsuit. Flight attendants on the nearly 9-hour nightmare flight out of JFK blatantly ignored the pair's pleas for help, including a demand to stop giving the abuser booze, according to the court papers filed Tuesday in Brooklyn federal court. Staffers then allegedly let the jailbait loving drunkard quietly walk off the plane when it landed in Athens, Greece, without notifying local police of an alleged SA. What happened to them during the flight was not just a nightmare, it was completely preventable, said the family's lawyer, Evan Brustein, of the July 26, 2022 trip. Flight staff allegedly served the man vodka even though he was noticeably drunk, okay? When the mom complained, the flight attendant blew her off, telling her to be patient. Be patient? Be patient. You got to be kidding me. The unidentified man mumbled that he was from Connecticut, gave the mother and the daughter a brief reprieve by heading to the bathroom to loudly puke before returning with a glass of wine, they contend. Rather than move the man to a different seat, a flight attendant allegedly told him to stop talking to the victims, prompting an enraged, profanity-laced outburst from the drunk, who called mom and her kid FNBs. Can you imagine? I mean, what was the other people on this plane doing? The teen began to have a panic attack and put her head down in her mom's lap. This is where I got questions for mommy. Okay. Let me see. Her mother said only to feel the intoxicated Delta passenger clammy fingers underneath her shirt climbing up her back, fingering her bra strap and moving over her body, according to the $2 million suit. Excuse me, child, this suit would probably be $1 billion if it was me. And my thing is, why was this child sitting next to this man? She jumped up out of her seat crying, and the drunk passenger then allegedly reached over to put his hand up the mother's leg before she screamed at him to stop and also jumped up out of her seat. The mother demanded the Delta flight attendant contact the police, but was told to calm down and think about it. The victims then switched seats for the rest of the flight. When the plane landed, the flight attendants offered 5,000 free airline miles as an apology. Are you kidding me? Delta declined to comment on the lawsuit, but instead insisted it has zero tolerance for customers who engage in inappropriate or unlawful behavior. The lies they tell. You got all the tolerance because you gave this man a whole bunch of booze. Are you kidding me right now? Okay. All my Robin's internet is still buffering. All right, Robin. You said when you consume alcohol at high altitudes, the effects are increased. I didn't know that. But listen, he still had an excessive amount. Roya, what are your thoughts on this situation?
Delta would be no more. There would be no more Delta. It would be voyeurs fly around the world.
Come on now.
Excuse me? You gave any individual on any airline 10 glasses, not 10 shots, 10 glasses of vodka? Is that what you said?
10 glasses of vodka, and then they let them chase it with some wine, a glass of wine.
Yeah. It would be Royer's world tour. You going around the world on Royer's planes, because I would sue the mess out of Delta. First of all, I am calling for the flight attendants to be fired. And you might as well slap them on the lawsuit as well, because as a flight attendant, it's your responsibility to enhance the safety of every passenger that gets on your flight. It is your responsibility that when a passenger complains about something little or big as this, that it is handled immediately. Hi, Francis. Excuse me, welcome. It's a shame, that it should be handled immediately. There should be no ifs, ands, or buts. There should be no excuses given out. The plane, if able to, should have landed immediately, and police personnel should have been waiting at the gate. So as soon as the plane doors opened, that he was arrested and charges were pressed. This is horrible. Now, you said the child was 16, correct? This 16-year-old girl, imagine the therapy that she's gonna have to go through. and we've talked about this in the past. You know, depending on what happened to you at a certain stage of your life, it affects you later on. So now people touching her or hugging her or any kind of hand gestures may fear her because I sat on the plane for however long and had a man fondling me and my mother. This is outrageous. This is outrageous. Delta ought to be ashamed. The flight attendants need to be fired, and charges need to be pressed against them as well, because this is in essence, you know, child abuse. This is child abuse. And y'all witnessed
They facilitated the behavior by continuing to give this man alcohol, okay? And then not hearing her first pleas, right? And 5,000, what an insult, 5,000 free mile point, whatever that is. I went, child, bye. You better be offering me first class seats anywhere I gotta go for the rest of my life, the rest of my kids' life, and my grandkids, and my mom, and all of them.
Everybody.
Like, are you kidding me right now? But again, I mean, maybe the mother was in shock, but the minute I would have saw he was a little intoxicated, I would have been like, get up, you sit over here, I'm going to sit here. Because if he dare touch me, it's going to go down. I'm going to bust him upside his head. It's going to be a whole problem on this plane. Now, I'm going to give the flight attendants a minute to get their life together, but if you don't get your life together, I'm about to involve the whole plane.
The whole plane.
The whole plane. Down. You're all going to be uncomfortable.
We falling out the air for real.
That part. Wayne, what are your thoughts?
Diva, you know, I'm gonna have to refrain from commenting on this because I'm retired from Delta and I am not trying to lose my flight benefits.
I know that's right.
Wow.
I know that's right. You better hold on to your benefits. I know that's right.
Your benefits.
Okay.
I fly for free anywhere I want to go, as long as there's a seat on the plane. And
Amen.
I know how this is, you know, you're responsible for things you say. And I know this is a digital footprint on anything I say.
We're gonna move on, Rain. We exempt you from this conversation right here. Okay, so hold tight. You're exempt. Okay. I will also get some stocks in Delta. Come on now, Sheila. Well, are you kidding me right now? You have got to be kidding me. They said they know that's right, Rain. Don't say a word. Okay. Anything you do and say can be used against you. Zip. All right. Okay. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Robin. This is crazy. This is crazy. In my opinion, what are your thoughts?
I think this is reckless. And not only to himself, but it's reckless to everybody on that flight. And so you put somebody's life in danger because you want to consume so much alcohol. But then I blame the flight attendants because they kept on giving it to them. Like, don't they have a limit to how many they can serve a person on the plane? Because you sure got a limit of how many you could take on the plane. So you should have a limit on how much you consume too. And this is crazy because here it is. This kid is being assaulted on the airline. Unwanted. Mama too. And all you can offer me is some airline mileage. Boy, please.
Yeah, it's insane. Denzel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is messed up. This is sick. You know, I'm praying for the you know, for the mom. I'm praying for the mom and the daughter. And yeah, she needs to sue. She needs to sue Delta. He needs to go to prison. Okay, he's gonna get his karma. God don't like ugly. You don't do that. That's sick. That's sick. And I feel sorry for I feel sorry for the mom and the daughter, and I hope they get, you know, a whole lot of counseling and therapy, because you know that's traumatizing, especially for the daughter too. And you know, they should have moved him from a different seat and put somebody else, you know. And not only that, you know what, the mom and the daughter, they deserve free trips on Delta for that. They deserve free trips on Delta. That pain and suffering.
And they should have stopped serving him. They should have stopped.
They gave him more drinks.
He got 10 vodkas.
Oh yeah, and the people. That is crazy. The ones that kept giving him drinks, they need to be fired. Are you kidding me? Sick. That's it.
Thank you. Hey Adele, welcome into the Sunday, little Sunday afternoon little train ride here. What do you want to say?
Well, I was listening to you guys and I said, let me pop in. Yeah. But I saw your video earlier and what you said about maybe someone on the plane knew him. I was thinking this is some wealthy man from where they're from, and he flies with them maybe frequently. They know who he is, so they're protecting him over this person that they probably say, okay, we whatever that is, because it, like you said, it's very. There's something wrong. There's something more that we don't know. There's something else in this. Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree. One, I don't know why, and I'm gonna take it as maybe the mom was in shock. I don't know why she didn't switch seats with her daughter, right? I didn't understand that, right? But also, I don't understand why, because they have stopped people for less. So I don't understand why they kept giving this man. He had 10 things of vodka.
And that's why I kind of it makes sense what Adele is saying. He's got to be somebody important to Delta, or somebody that they, like she said, fly frequently, because they wouldn't just do this to no random stranger, Adele. That's 100%. Like any random person, they would have landed that plane and had him arrested immediately. They probably would have moved him to a flight attendant seat and had him, because I've seen like they've had people handcuffed on the plane before, kind of like a citizen's arrest almost. But he should have been removed from his seat and moved into a place where no one else was around, because
exactly
this is problematic.
So I live in the Metro Atlantic, and I usually fly Delta only. They usually make restitution. The flight attendants need to be suspended, and the family needs monetary compensation and free flights for life. Definitely free flights for life. And I say fired. I say fired. And the reason why I'm being so harsh with this fired, they said they got zero tolerance. Well, y'all had a whole lot of tolerance on that flight.
Exactly.
You gave this man 10 vodkas, and then after he went and puked in the bathroom, allegedly, he came back with some wine in his hand to the seat.
What?
Oh, yeah. It was a whole hot mess. It was messy. It was messy. Not cool at all. They should be protecting their job over an excessively intoxicated passenger, frequent flyer or not. Come on now. And that's what we're saying. Like something about this story doesn't add up, all the way to the point where they did not want to call the cops, asking the mom, are you sure you want to call the cops? Am I sure?
Heck yeah, call the cops. Yes.
Yeah, something is not adding up, and I'm not feeling good. We're going to have to stay connected to this story, because there's a missing piece, and we're going to hear about that missing piece. Now, this happened in 2022. I wonder why the lawsuit was just filed.
That's a good question.
It's a lot of things that's making my mind go, something's not right. And with all the people with the cameras now, I'm surprised.
You said this happened when?
July 26, 2022.
What?
So I can say, working with the courts, that the courts be very backed up.
Okay.
And they try to handle stuff outside of court, kind of like do arbitration and things like that. And if you can't come to an agreement, then it will. So I would probably imagine that they were probably in some kind of arbitration, and they just really weren't willing to settle with what Delta was offering. And so it went into maybe
I can get with that.
Makes sense.
It makes sense. Stacey O, maybe with the Delta executive, something stinks really bad here. Something stinks really bad. It's not mathing, it's not adding up. I'm feeling like they knew this man, because I feel like they was protecting him on purpose. Like, do you really want to, and you still giving him wine? But we're going to move on, because this is, sensitive, and Wayne can't join this conversation. So we're going to move on to the next story, okay? And we don't blame you, okay? We don't blame you, okay? Keep that free flights, all right?
I want to continue to fly high, 30,000 feet.
Boom, boom. Okay, that's it and that's all. All right. So we're going to move to our next topic here. This is pretty sad, pretty heavy for a Sunday. But you know what? Sometimes we got to get through the rough topics, okay? These parents are an absolute disgrace. All I can say is, okay, let me go ahead and share a screen so we can get into this story. All right. Sick. Absolutely sick. Sickening video shows cops rescue star-beaten kids locked in cages from Las Vegas horror house. Okay. So sickening video shows Las Vegas cop rescuing young children who were allegedly battered, starved, and put in cages by their parents. One of the older children was beaten so badly that his father, Travis Doss, told Las Vegas Metropolitan Police he believed the 11-year-old was already dead. According to the court transcripts, the child said he was forced to share what little food he had with his siblings and that he had not eaten for days, a detective on the case recalled. He kept saying that he was always hungry and that's why he stole. And then he said, it's food. It's food that's in the trash. So how is that even stealing? The detective said, according to a grand jury transcript. And he kept saying that he needed big food because he was a big boy now, and that he would have to share one large fry from McDonald's with like all 6 kids, and just that he was never really fed, and that's why he stole, the cop recounted. The detective told the jury that the child said he was locked in a cage all day, every day. What a joke. What a monster. And this man had the nerve to call himself a up and coming rapper, okay, rapper wannabe. Travis Doss, 31, is accused of beating and starving his young children and putting them in animal cages. Amanda Stamper, 33, also was arrested and charged with child abuse. Doss, who is the father to 7 children, was indicted by a grand jury earlier this month on 40 charges, including child abuse, according to the court records viewed by the Post. The disturbing cop body cam initially shows officers entering a tiny 1-bedroom apartment, 7 kids, 1 bedroom, and 2 adults and dogs, where they found 6 kids, ages 2 to 11, along with 2 dogs. 2 of the children, the 11-year-old boy and the 9-year-old brother, were crouched inside a padlock cage, normally used for pets. Cops said the 11-year-old boy had 2 black eyes that was swollen shut, multiple marks and bruises all over his body, and he was emaciated. That's a shame. This is sad. Okay. Videographs from police cam footage show Las Vegas Metro Police rescuing 6 horribly abused little kids. Okay. The child told police his father had beaten him with cords, belts, and a pan. Amanda Stamper, who was the biological mother of the 2-year-old child and the stepmother to the others, also was indicted and faces 7 counts of child abuse. I want to know what happened with the mother or mothers of these other kids. Okay, the body cam footage showed the children initially refused to open the door to cops for 15 minutes because the kids were instructed not to open the doors for strangers. We're not hurt, we're fine, said one of the children in the video. That's an older picture of him with some of the kids, out, looks like they were fishing. That's him because he was supposed to be this alleged rapper, okay? That's her because she was, allegedly a prostitute that worked for him, okay? After the maintenance worker eventually convinced the children to open the door, cops found the children in the apartment with dogs. In the video, the 11-year-old child said of his dad, he hit my face in the cage because I was squished up trying to get out of the cage because I didn't do anything and I was freaking out. One of the officers could be heard consoling a child, telling him, you're not a bad kid. This is just really a crappy situation, and we're going to get you some help. This is not going to happen to you again. Okay, that's the cops trying to get in. Doss allegedly told police he had no choice when asked why he placed the children in the cage. In his Instagram, Doss, who is a rapper who goes by the name of Trap Montana, is seen rapping inside exotic cars, mansions, and casinos on the famed Las Vegas Strip. In post from September 2020, he is seen with his children enjoying a beach day in Santa Monica, California. Another post from June 29 teen shows Dosh fishing with 4 of the children and Stamper smiling in the background. This is so sad. Stamper's public defender said the mother was also a victim of Dosh's abuse. Stamper's Instagram shows several provocative pictures of her in the nude and shots of her newborn baby from 2 years ago. If she had done anything, she would have been subjected to serious abuse, Stamper's public defender said in June. Okay, I'm not giving her no excuses. She pisses me off too, because there's another article. I'm just trying to see if I actually pulled it up, where she actually, I'm trying to see if I still have it. But while I look for it, I'll go around. Wait, I think I do have it here. I had so many articles up. Let me just see. It's a shame. These people are crazy. This one I can't show much of this article because unfortunately, in this article they show a lot of GUNs, but I want to just present this for y'all for 1 second. Let me share screen again. It's very sad.
Investigators, Metro Police arresting 2 parents accused of beating 6 children. Prosecutors say one of those children was kept in a locked dog kennel. 31-year-old Travis Doss and 33-year-old Amanda Stamper, each facing charges. We were the only media there in court today.
All 6 children have permanent, lasting loop marks on their bodies and all over their bodies from the abuse inflicted by this defendant.
Police say they threatened to shoot one child with a BB gun. Police say Stamper was also victimized, but let the alleged abuse continue before escaping with her biological child, a 7th also living in that home. The couple is due back in court on Wednesday.
So she made sure she escaped with her kid, and that's how she went to the local Walgreens. And when she went to the local Walgreens, what she did was she made a call and told the cops to go to the apartment. Trent, thanks for the super chat. He probably has custody because he has more money than the mothers. He can't have that much more money when they was living in a one-bedroom apartment. A 1-bedroom apartment with 7 kids, 2 dogs, and 2 adults. And then you got the kids in cages all day long, 2 of them. And they scared.
Diva, wasn't it an extended stay?
Yes, it was an extended stay.
Yeah, it wasn't even an apartment.
You are correct. You are correct. It wasn't even an apartment. It was an extended stay place. And my thing is, when you ran out, you couldn't try to grab at least one more of the kids? Now, I know you was going to be able to get all 7, but you couldn't grab one more, but you grabbed yours, Miss Lady. So that's why you locked up too. Roy, what are your thoughts?
There's not really much to say, but I want them locked up for life. And I want the abuse that they caused these children to play in their mind for the rest of their days. I think that will be a perfect sentencing. These children have to live with the abuse that both parents caused them, because in my opinion, she's just as much as part of the problem as he is. You, for months, years, however long y'all were together, went along with the treatment of the other children. Even before you brought your child into the situation, you were okay with the treatment of the other children and how they were being treated. So obviously you were just as much as the problem as he was. So both of them need to be locked up. They need to be given life sentence without parole. And those poor children.
1 large French fry for 6 kids.
Oh God. To be that small and that skinny and I mean, what was the oldest? 16?
No, 11 and 9.
11 and 9. Okay.
11 and 9.
11 and 9. You know, that is forever impressed in their mind now. They will never not forget that. They will forever remember that. And you know, I just hope that there will be someone who truly cares for them that can really get them some mental and physical help, because this is kind of almost, I hate to say this, but kind of like almost like drugs. Once you're in this kind of lifestyle, there is so much work that they have to do to get you to where you should be in life. So the trauma is going to be speechless for them to come over. I just can't imagine. I'm just really short of words with this situation.
And the poor kid was digging in the trash for food. And I wonder if his father was telling him, because he said it's not really stealing, right? It was in the trash. So I wonder if the father was telling him when he was digging in the trash for food that he was stealing. They sick. He was digging in the trash for food, and and feeling so bad, like, it wasn't really stealing, was it? Because it was in the trash. Wayne, what are your thoughts?
You know what I think?
Hold on one second, Wayne.
Okay.
What did you want to say?
I'm sorry, and I just seen this. Sebastian said the death penalty. I do not agree with the death penalty because I feel that people need to sit and suffer with the decisions that they have made. I feel like taking the death penalty is the easy way out, in my opinion. Sit and think about for the rest of your life how you treated the people who you brought into this world.
Now, let me tell you something. I'm not saying whether this is right or wrong, but I heard the people, even though they have done their own dirty little crimes, I heard the people in jail do not take kindly to people who do stuff to kids.
They do not.
They do not.
So they're going to get there. And you have the nerve to be hiding your face in your shirt? No, sir. Show your face, because you did this to your kids.
It's like a show your face.
Show your face. Go ahead, Wayne.
Now, this may sound just far-fetched, but I think he was raising them and grooming them to traffic them. I think, thank God that, the police came, but I actually think even though it was his kids, I know people may say, oh, they were his kids. I think he was actually grooming them young kids, to go out and perform services for whoever he wanted to perform on. I mean, he had them think about it. I mean, they wouldn't even acknowledge that they were in danger because they were so young.
Well, they were scared too.
Right. Well, yeah, they were scared, but that's what I'm saying. They're scared of him. So what's going to stop him from telling them, oh, you're going to go here with Mr. So-and-so, so-and-so. I hate to say it, but people, they traffic their children. You hear about mothers who years ago would give their children to another person for drugs. And these people seem like they were just so far, just into it. And, and by the mere fact that what the kind of content she was doing, and a prostitute, I mean, she found him, he sent her out, I need you to find this person for me, and bring them back. Hopefully it wasn't like that, but I just kind of think, people are taking so much advantage of children. I mean, it just almost seems like, how could you? And then when they're yours, we sane people, we just can't see it, But I think that's what he was doing.
Well, you grooming them, you starving them and trying to have them work. But I understand what you're saying. I don't disagree, but he
keeping them in line. He's keeping them in line. It's sad to say, and they do need to be in jail for a long, long time. And I hate to say it, Blondie need to be in there for just as much time.
Absolutely. Because it wasn't until I was trying to pull up the other article. It wasn't until he threatened her that she found the strength to run out with her baby in her hands and go call the cops. Now, I would have cut her some break if she tried to, because you probably wouldn't have got out of there with all of them. But if you tried to say, you know what, I'm going to take my baby and one of the others to the store with me.
What don't you think the main office was a little closer?
Yeah, well, you ain't lying. You telling the truth. But you know what though? In those extended stays, how do they work? I don't know how they really work. Like, do they have maids come in? Nobody could have been, but know what? I take it back, because the maintenance opened the door for the cops.
And you know, if you put do not disturb on your door, they're not gonna come clean your room anyways. That's at any hotel. So
Yeah.
he
Oh
could
my
have just
God.
always had it on the door, do not disturb.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she could have
Pamela.
gone to the front. She could have gone to the front office wherever they process people to check in. She could have gone right there. I'm in danger. Call the police.
You speaking facts. You speaking facts. Pam, I'm glad you made it, Pamela. Glad you made it. Okay. We don't know. We gotta stay close to this story, Cynthia. I don't know, but I'm taking it the kids wasn't in school because they would have got busted sooner.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah. I'm taking the kids. I want to know where these kids' mothers are. Like, you really just don't care about your kids like that?
Well, if he had this girl working the way she did, maybe the other mothers was doing, you know, they were bringing in the money.
This is so sad. So sad. Denzel, what are your thoughts?
This is sick. This is sick. So the woman, is she the stepmother?
She the stepmother to 6 of them, but they had a child together, and that was the 2-year-old.
The 2-year-old. Okay. They had a 2-year-old together, and she's the stepmother to the other ones.
Right.
Okay. You know what? And this is a good question. Where is the other mothers of the other children?
I want to know too.
Because I wonder, are they up to no good or what? Because this is crazy.
I have a feeling he definitely wasn't messing with people that were in their right state of mind, for sure. It got to be more to this story. We got to find out.
Right.
But I'm glad that she's getting locked. She's locked up too.
Yeah. I'm glad too. And those poor children, they need I'm telling you, they're gonna need a lot of counseling and a lot of therapy, because this type of stuff is gonna traumatize them. And I hope and pray that those two, that the no good man and the no good woman, I hope they both get their karma in jail, in prison. In prison. And I hope, and you know what? And I hope they get put in a cage and get starved in the prison. Like really. And that's why I'm saying everybody don't need to be a parent. No, everybody should not be a parent. Some people should not be parents, and I hope that it's people that really care. I hope it's people out there that really care, that can raise these children and protect these children, because this is some sick mess. And I pray for those children. I hope they get the mental help they need, because this is really sad and it's sick.
It is, but you know what's so sad, because it's not easy to find a couple that will take all of them.
That's true.
I'm guessing, I don't know, I'm guessing that the other 6 are from the same mom.
I will hope.
We don't know. I mean, for him to just have all 6 of them, it seems crazy to me.
Yeah, it does.
It's more to this story, right? Yeah. And you know what? Dogs in the extended stay. Yeah,
they got 2 dogs too.
Dogs, and have the dogs looking healthier than the kids were.
That's a shame.
Ain't it though? You feeding the dogs,
but you're not feeding your children.
That part.
I'm sorry, Diva.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Adele, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to try to come from a different perspective, because I've heard this story in a different situation before, more than once. This is not the first situation we've heard of cage and kids being locked up. And my thing is this, is like, when are we going to get to a place where we're able to find these kids in these situations, try to prevent these situations? And I know it's not easy, because you can't just break into someone's home and in their life figure these things out. But how are guessing these kids weren't going to school, and were they always locked up like this. All of these things, would have to be looked into to figure ways that these things can be prevented. And the other thing that I think about, like, these guys are not in a normal lifestyle. They're obviously a group of people who probably doing drugs, prostitution, all of those things. And I really don't agree when it comes to the girl, because she looked like she was also what do you call it? Built for this lifestyle. She looked like she wasn't a person that was there. And I'm not saying for sure, because at the end of the day, you can only know after you investigate and figure it out. Whatever she done, she should be felt completely responsible. But there's something in my heart that feels like this girl could have run away and mind her business, but she made sure the cops came and went for those kids. And a lot of times when you run away, you know that the person's going to come and get you too. Eventually, they're probably going to try to find you. Hence why he probably has the dogs.
Let me add this to the conversation. I was trying to find the other article. There's another article that says that he threatened her. Mm-hmm. So when he threatens you, when he threatened the kids, it's cool. When they got to eat one thing of large fries, it's cool. But now that he threatened you, you pick your baby up and you go find yourself a phone in the cops, right? So if you could have did that once he threatened you, you could have did that when you saw how he was doing what he was doing to the kids. But you didn't care because those kids ain't biologically yours.
But did it say that was the only time he threatened her? Because the truth of the matter is, we all know Stockholm syndrome is real. And maybe that was a time she had enough courage to go. And this is all hypothetical. I'm not committing to anything. I'm just hearing the story. It's a lot. This is just so much that it's almost, and you're trying to make sense out of nonsense. This is beyond the things that alone that happened to those kids. Is like, internally, my heart is breaking. I'm just like, I hope God's grace is enough to propel all of those things they've been through to make their life and destiny something wonderful, because we all know that God has a way of using your pain to turn into some miraculous things. And I'm hoping and praying that that's what he's able to do with these kids. But for these adults, or whether it just be him or both of them, who's done all these things, obviously there's mental health. And I know there's this thing of us saying lately that people are using mental health issues as an excuse. There's more mental health issues happening. We have to figure out, why is there so much mental health issues? Was it starting from COVID, or was it always this thing? What are we doing to try to help people? What are we doing to impact the situation and help people kind of process these things? I think instead of us saying that people are using it for an excuse, we need to figure out how we can fix it. And if for those people who are using it, because people always use things for excuses, right? But I don't think it's only that. I think there's real situation of mental health, and we have to figure out not a way for people to get away with stuff, but for them to get at the same time, because when they finish their prison stay and they come out, they're coming out maybe sometimes even worse with the mental health issue again. And prisons, like, there's no help for mental health issues in the prison, so they basically kind of like home them, and they learn more negative things. That being said, I feel I'm just talking because there's just so much, like, my mind keep on going back to the kids and just wanting them to be able to be okay after some such things happening to them, and just praying to God that they're all right and their future is not influenced to I just pray for them. I really do. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. And I hear you, Adele, right? And Betty G, in this particular case, I'm agreeing with you. Mental health, some people are just freaks and enjoy essaying children. And this thing, I'm gonna have to agree with you, but Aniki said
that's mental health. Well, if you enjoy,
I hear what you're saying, right? You're saying that somebody's that sick that something has to be mentally wrong with them, right? But I'm saying that this particular man, you had the nerve to call yourself a rapper. You was able to take pictures and mansion and all of this and post all of this on your social media, and then behind the scenes you're starving the freaking children and abusing them, right? So I hear what you're saying, and I gotta let it marinate a little bit, right? Because at the end of the day, everybody that does something crazy, we can say that something is mentally wrong with them, right? But
when you say crazy, what do you mean?
Well, what do you I mean, something like this. This is insane. This is crazy. You have children in a cage.
Yeah,
you have
but
kids in a cage.
But that word came about describing a person. When someone says someone's crazy, they're saying that there's something wrong with them. It's also saying that they have a mental. We don't use the word necessarily crazy.
I understand the path you're taking, Adele. So I'm not disagreeing with you on your path, but I'm just saying that regardless, in this particular case, I don't care what the end diagnosis is. Live in the jail. Live in the jail. I don't care if the jail doesn't give you mental health benefits and they only give you a pill to calm you down. All I'm saying is, in this case, live in the jail. And there's some other people. I want to know where these other mothers are. Did you never try to call your kid? Think about your kid. Is the mother still alive? Is it one mother? Is it two? Is it three? I want to know more. But either way, I'm just saying that at the end of the day, live in the jail. Point blank and period. Live in the jail.
When the sentence is over and they come out of the jail and they're not healed, what do you think is going to happen? Because for me,
well, that's why I'm saying life in jail.
I believe there should be a punishment, because one of the project I did when I was in high school was to research the death penalty, who's in prison, who's on death row. It costs so much to house people in jail, just as much as it would cost to have a program to help them. And what happens is that there's a lot of private jails out there, and these are private people charging all this money, and the taxpayer is still paying for it. So either way, the same cost it costs just to house them in jail could go towards helping them change and figure out what is wrong with these people. What's wrong with you? Why do you think it's okay to do this to kids that cannot even begin to harm you? Your own kids.
Give me a minute, Adele. Give me a minute. Let me just play this video. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
I think this is the one I want.
Okay.
Disturbing video as police rescue two small children discovered locked in a cage. The two adults who lived there now behind bars themselves. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Brian Loftus.
I'm Denise Valdez. 8 News Now investigator David Sharns first told you about those arrests. Now he has video you're seeing first on 8 News Now. David?
And we do want to warn you that this video is hard to watch. Police say they found 6 children, all under the age of 11, all showing signs of child abuse. 2 locked in that cage, and one of them with injuries so bad, police say his father thought the boy was dead.
Hey, it's Metro Police. We just want to make sure everything's okay.
A Metro Police officer's body camera rolls as she and her partner try to get into this extended stay unit.
Can we get a third unit to our location?
Officers are outside the door on Valley View near Flamingo after meeting up with 33-year-old Amanda Stamper and 31-year-old Travis Doss at this store across the street. According to grand jury transcripts, Stamper told police Doss had sent her a photo of his 11-year-old son, saying he believed he had beaten the child so hard he was deceased inside this cage.
You already talked to your parents, okay? You need to open the door so we can talk to you.
Officers are talking to a child behind the door who refuses to remove the security chain. You can hear the small voice.
We want to make sure you guys aren't hurt. We're not hurt. We're fine. I can't leave until I physically see you, sweetie. Please answer the door.
After about 10 minutes, a maintenance worker convinces the child to let the officers in. The adults cross the threshold, finding the 6 children alone, 2 padlocked in a small cage.
Hi, guys.
The dogs are healthy.
Okay, call us for animal control.
Officers struggle to open the lock,
You're 9, sweetie. Okay.
cutting it and freeing the 2 young boys. One badly beaten and severely malnourished, with swollen eyes, open wounds, and scars.
Oh, baby, come on. Okay, sweetie.
Police lead the children into daylight, several of the 6 telling police their father said never open the door for strangers.
Sweetheart, it's okay. It's okay, baby. It's okay.
The badly injured child saying on video he hadn't eaten in days and that his father would hit him with belts, cords, and according to police, this pan. A detective telling the grand jury he kept saying that he was always hungry, that he needed big food because he was a big boy now, and that he would have to share like one large fry from McDonald's with his 6 siblings.
I hit my face on the cage because I was squished up trying to get out of the cage because I had all this noise and I was freaking out.
A prosecutor to a detective. Did the 11-year-old mention to you how often he was locked in the dog cage? He said all day, every day. He said too long.
Not a bad kid. This is just a really crappy situation, okay? And we're going to get you some help, and this is not going to happen again.
That child survived, but we do not know right now where he or his siblings are. We are told they are all doing okay. The 2 adults charged have pleaded not guilty. We asked to speak with the officer there who saw the compassion from her and the other officer who helped her. Metro declined our interview request.
Okay, I got to stop it there.
I would pay every bit of my tax money every year to make sure that they stay under the jail.
I know that's right.
You don't deserve no freedom. You don't deserve no mental health. You got enough sense to tell the children never to open the door for strangers. You got enough sense to do that. But you don't have enough common courtesy and grace and mercy to feed the very children that you starving, and you keep 2 of the oldest ones locked up in a cage. The oldest children.
Yep, because he didn't want them to break out.
Because he know that they would get out.
Mm-hmm.
I would pay my taxes every year to make sure they both of them stay locked up. There is no grace and mercy for this. Not from a human standpoint. I'm sorry. There is
for everything. That's what God does.
Hold on,
At the end of the day,
hold on, Adele, because I need to get other people in the conversation. Hold on 1 second, okay? And I was trying to find the article. I clicked out of it by mistake. I'll let you say something, Wayne. Then I'm gonna get to my opinion. But I clicked out of it by mistake where she said, "Oh, he threatened me." And that's why when they was over there at the Walgreens, she told somebody, can you help me make a phone call, whatever the case may be. She'd been out in the street before. She wasn't locked down like with them kids. You said something because he threatened you. When you left, you had your baby in your arm. What about the other kids? You didn't care because they wasn't yours. Go ahead, Wayne. What was you going to say?
I don't know.
Give me a second. Go ahead, Wayne.
If I'm not being too detectively, I'm just wondering now, the police couldn't get them to open up the door, but the maintenance worker was able to talk him into opening up,
It took him 15 minutes.
Took him 15 minutes? Okay, I'm just wondering, I mean, I just don't understand why nobody, I don't know how long the people been in the extended stay, but I just can't understand why nobody even went there, even the maintenance or whatever. I mean, if somebody's in a hotel for like days at a time and they're not getting any services, I mean, isn't that, shouldn't that open up, raise somebody's eyebrows that, wow, these people, they haven't come out, they haven't got no towels. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know,
It's messy. And like I said, come on, Leah, the dogs were healthier than the kids. Them dogs wasn't starving. Them dogs look mighty healthy. Them dogs was eating every single day. And that's why I'm saying, I don't have no grace and no mercy for them parents up underneath the jail.
Period.
Goodbye. Throw away the key. We'll see you when we see you.
Period.
And you know what? And mental health. Adele, just real quick.
Yeah.
I know what Adele says about mental health, and that's not an excuse. And it's just because you got mental health. Wait a minute. And I'm not talking about. I'm just saying that because if it's somebody does something and it's mental health, that don't excuse you to be exonerated. I mean, either you can be in jail with mental health, whether you get treatment or not, but it's rather than you be on the street with no treatment, harming more people. So if that's where it got to be, that's where it got to be. Until the systems change or whatever, they need to be locked up someplace and not a detriment to society and be on the street.
Amen.
Amen.
It's
Amen.
not that crazy. Wait, hold on, Adele. I gotta get the other two in the building, then I'll let you speak again. They not that
misunderstanding me.
Go ahead.
You're misunderstanding me because what I'm saying to you, they should be punished. They absolutely should be punished. These kids are number one. There's nothing else. What I'm saying though is that when there's mental health, there's a miseducation about mental health. We're thinking mental health means that you don't know what you're doing. There's people that know what they're doing, but it's still mental health. Mental health happens to all of us. It's just different severity. And people who do crazy things like this, they do it because there's something wrong. That's all I'm saying.
I'm on board with you, Adele. I'm on board with you.
Okay, let me get in my opinion in the building. Okay, give me a minute. Let me get in my opinion in building. The reason why I'm saying these people are super sick, you fed the dogs. If the dogs was looking malnourished, you know what? But you're super sick. You was feeding the dogs and not the kids. In my opinion, what are your thoughts?
Here's the thing. If you look at it, we all have some form of mental health. So mental health is not an excuse for this. It's disgusting. It's outrageous. It's atrocious that these kids had to go through what they had to go through because kids don't ask to be here. And if you don't want them, then give them up. Because this is stupid. And he fed the dogs because he knew them dogs was going to bite his behind if they didn't. Okay? And so here's the problem. Everybody every time we have a topic and it's sensitive, they want to say mental health this, mental health that. If you don't get your mental health in check before you break the law or something, oh well, suffer the consequences. They are what they are. We have laws in place to protect citizens, kids, and everyone to be able to live in this world and be safe. If you issue and you don't get it in check, oh well, serve your time just like everybody else because we pay our tax to be protected. And so when you break the law, you should serve the time. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Nikki, your thoughts?
Well, I didn't even expect this. I was just going through the YouTube streets. But I just want to say I think everybody is right on the panel. I don't know. Do y'all hear that? Is it just me?
No, we hear it.
I hear something in the background. But I just want to say I think everybody's right. I 100% understand what Adele is saying regarding, the prison reform thing. She's 100% right. Prison doesn't reform anybody. If anything, it makes everything worse and the people that go in there worse. That's just my personal opinion. But I also believe that these people that did this to these children need to never get out of prison. You're a menace to society. You can't. There's something wrong with you. And I remember growing up in the 80s, my parents, they was just like, I think they called us latchkey kids, but they went and worked at the hospital and would be gone for like 12 hours. This when I was really young, like 5, 6 years old.
Until you don't answer the door for nobody.
And they would do stuff like send my auntie over there to see if I answer the door for my auntie.
Yep.
And like you would get in trouble if you did, because I told you don't open this door for anybody. And it was for their own safety. And obviously your parents shouldn't have been leaving you home. My 10-year-old brother home watching me. And I'm 5 or whatever the case may be. But I think sometimes people just do the best that they can. That's not this type of situation. So I don't want to conflate the two.
Right.
But I do understand I think it's important to say Adele and in my opinion both said that hit on something that's reality, which is everybody has a little bit of mental health going on. The difference is the people who aren't making these terrible decisions, we know how to cope with life. Some people, they just don't have that ability to cope with life. So even if you went to therapy and didn't go to prison, let's just say, and even if you got, on some sort of medication, that's not going to necessarily mean that you're not going to commit crimes. During COVID, I had to do a lot of the work. Even though I was a program manager, a lot of people were sick. So I had to step in and work at the homes with people who are, IDD, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember this young man, one night, actually I woke up, I don't know why, at like 5 a.m, and I got a phone call from my staff, and she's like, Jane Doe, it's a guy, or Joe Doe, he broke out and he went and sexually assaulted one of our other one of our other individuals that lived in another house. But he also had I don't know if you call it a photographic memory, because it's not like she lived next door. She lived in the neighborhood somewhere. He broke in the house and sexually assaulted her. And this, when I got to the hospital, they had him changed to
Say SA. Say SA.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
That's fine. That's
fine. But whenever I got to the hospital, and I was just gonna go talk to him, because I was up with this young man nightly, and he had insomnia. He had a lot of things going on. But the reason I bring this up is because when that happened, because I have been working with him for over a year, he's never done anything like that. I immediately wondered, like, at the end of the day, he didn't, when I say SA, he didn't, there was no penetration or anything like that. He just like kissed her, if that makes sense. But that's still, she doesn't have the ability to say no. You know what I mean? And he shouldn't have done that. But immediately I did think to myself, he remembers enough to know where this young lady lives, right? To go and break in and do all of these things. But I also know, being with him all the time, I'm like, he's unstable. You know what I mean? He's psychotic. He never did anything to me or to the other people in his home that he lived in. But I immediately thought to myself, I wonder, can they prosecute him? Because he lives in a group home where he's obviously mentally unstable. But he'd never done anything like that. And I still don't know the answer to that, even though
I do know the answer, and I'm gonna tell you the answer.
Oh, okay.
Just like they lock up for their own good, so they won't do bodily harm to self or others. They lock up like Amanda Bynes sometimes. They lock up like a Britney Spears sometimes. Yeah, if you go down, mental illness and all, if you go down and you're harming others, we got to lock you up. We got to lock you up. Trent, thank you for the super chat. Hold on one second, everybody. Adele is 100% correct. There will be people like this and have been for thousands of years, and we need to address the issue. Our future generations will suffer. Here's the thing, though, right? Sometimes when a situation happens, we want to try to, throw in all the other problems that are going on in the earth and apply it to that current situation, right? So we can't work things like, simultaneously, so to speak. We got to work them in buckets. Is the prisons messed up? Absolutely. So you know what my suggestion would be? Try to do everything you can to abide the law and stay out of them. All right. So
have you?
But let me finish, Adele, and I'm gonna let you speak. Let me finish. I'll let you speak. Right. So, do they need more programs? Is everybody that goes to prison, do all of them come out derelicts? And even though they went through some stuff, derelicts, menace to society? Absolutely not. Okay. Are some of these people in jail able to go to college for free, and the people in the free world can't even go to college for free? Absolutely. Are there some jails where there are some programs that you can go to? Absolutely. If you are going to do a crime, and I'm not promoting crime over here, do a federal crime, because you're going to go to a nicer system that you would go to if you're going to prison or jail. All I'm saying is this. I understand mental health. I'm going to say that. I understand mental health. But mental health or not, if you commit a crime, we got to lock your behind up and figure out on the back end how to help you with your mental health. And even if it means that the prison nurse just got to come and bring you some Xanax or whatever, and you walk around like a zombie in the jail, whatever, it is what it is. But I'm not going to want you free in the free world, and you done took the lives of 17 people, and you want to say mental health. There are some people in this world, because they know mental health is a good way to get off from things, they want to claim mental health just so they can get off when they knew they was in their right state of mind when they did what they did, and they're just freaking evil. Do you see that Carly Russell, she did not want a mental health evaluation. Everybody was claiming it got to be mental health. It got to be mental health. Well, she avoided by any means necessary a mental health evaluation. You want to know why? Because she was in her right state of mind when she did what she did. And she knew why she did it. And now I'm leaning towards everybody else. She's a brat. She's a brat that wanted her way, and she just went too far with her little scheme to get her way. Because why did you decline the mental health evaluation? And every time we hear about Carly, she's dealing with something. Well, what is she dealing with? Why can't we get the right doctors to help her out to figure out what she's dealing with? But her mother don't want to submit her for the evaluation. The daddy don't want to submit her, and neither does her lawyer. With these particular evil, low down, dirty parents who have their kids in the cage, but have one dog in the cage, one dog out, and them dogs looks as healthy as they want to look, I'm sorry, go to jail, including the mama, okay, that picked up her own biological kid when she ran out for the house. You so afraid of what's going to happen to them other kids, grab one more. If she would at least grab one more kid, I might have felt a little more sympathy for her. But she grabbed her own kid and left. Because they went back there was to the 6 kids, not all 7. She made sure she had her baby in her arm and nothing happened to her baby. And I bet you that baby ate. I bet you that 2-year-old was not starving. That's just my thought. And I'm sorry, I'm so emotional, but go ahead, Adele. What did you want to add to the conversation?
I don't think you're hearing me, Diva, because I have said it several times. Mental health doesn't mean you're free. It means that you have a chance to recover by the time you get out. It even could mean that you'll be locked up for the rest of your life. If you know anything about the mental health system, you wouldn't choose it over the normal prison, because it means that you could be medicated, you could be, your rights and everything could be taken away from you. You have no choice. A doctor can send you here, send you there, lock you up. It's not freedom. And that's why I kept on saying to you, if that's not what I'm saying. What it's about is actual real treatment to get these people well. So when they actually come back into society, they're no longer continuing to make victims of other people. We're living in a society right now that we're victims of victims. I bet you if you check back, there's something that happened to this person in their life. I'm not saying they should get away with anything, but it's just like you go back through all of them. Even what's his name, that singer that just got into jail, he was also assaulted. All of these things, you can hear all of these different things, and it's like, what do you do for a permanent solution? We have to try and start something that will fix the root of the problem, or all we're doing is putting a band-aid. I want to see them locked up as well. I would never want anybody to come to cross the path of this person. I don't want to cross the path of this person. But how do we do something to make this person not a predator again when he comes out? We know for sure that people re-victimize when they come out of jail. The reason why they do that is because they have the criminal record. They have no means of getting something good. So they re-offend and they go back. How can we break that cycle? And I was asking you before, did you watch 13? 13 talks about how the Black community especially is holding up the prison system, because right now we're just a product. And I'm using we as all of those people who are going to jail. When the prison system is set up, is private people making money, and they're not trying to change. They're not trying to put program because that means they have to spend out more money. They're only trying to make money. And I'm going to leave it.
Adele, let me break your cycle for 1 minute.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Do I know mental health? 100% absolutely.
Okay.
100% absolutely. Do
Okay.
I also know that sometimes that no matter how meds and how much treatment they give some of these people, they don't change? 100% absolutely. So what I'm saying is I'm connecting with you. You feeling like we're not connecting, but I'm connecting with you 100%. You're putting a blanket and kind of connecting to what, in my opinion, said was that we all suffer with mental health. Well, that's using it very lightly. We all have places and times where we're emotional, but when I talk mental health, is when you don't know how to work your way through those emotions, right? So, right today, when something happens to us and devastating, we're not going to go beat up the next person because we don't know how to work our way through those emotions. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not caging my kids.
I do
Let me finish
understand.
though. Let me finish though. I'm not
Okay.
caging my kids because of the mental health that I'm going through. So what I'm saying is, I still believe wholeheartedly 100% that we lose the word mental health too loosely. Okay? Because here's the thing. These people, he's allegedly a pimp. Allegedly, I'm thinking probably some substances are involved. And he does do some things that make sense. So you're not that darn mental. And it makes sense to you so that your dogs won't bite you. They were fed, but it doesn't make sense to you to feed your kids. It made sense to you because those two that was locked up was 9 and 11, and they may have the foresight when you're gone to get up out of that house, but you caged them. You put a padlock on the cage. And I'm sure you told the other kids, don't let your siblings out. So I'm telling you, as I calculate and break down this case, they wasn't that mental. Everything they did was calculated. They did it for a reason. And I'm 10 toes down that they're freaking evil, right? You're mental, but when you get locked up, you got the mindset to cover your face. The dad was putting his face in his shirt. That ain't mental. Because now you know, you're well aware that you're getting locked up and you before this judge and it's about to go down. And you don't want no cameras and nobody else to see your face. That's not mental. That's you being evil as I don't know what. And I'm sorry. We're going to lock you up. Now, who we need to deal with the mental health with is these poor children. The child who's saying, did I steal? Am I a thief? I took it out the trash. That's what
Can I just say this, Diva?
Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Trent, thank you for the super chat. 1 second, Adele. I'm gonna let you speak. Trent, thank you for the super chat. It's not about rehabilitating these two. It's about identifying their traits so that we can provide MH services for the abusers of tomorrow. But see, the thing is, though, I understand what you're saying, but we'll never be able to identify an abuser ahead of time. And the possible ones that we might, but it's unfair to say that, is maybe these kids who went through this situation. But you could be living next to me and I could seem like the sanest person in the world. And in the day I'm in the streets, pow with people, then I come home and I'm barbecuing with my neighbors. You don't know until you know. But go ahead, Adele.
I agree with everything that you said because everything that you says is right. And the problem with that, the overall problem with that is that not because you're right doesn't mean that it solved the problem. And that's where I'm coming from too. The problem is not about what we're seeing. It's bigger than that. We're a society that victims perpetually victimize other people because that's the only way they survive. That's the only way they get this whole thing on. It's like Nikki was saying before, we're all kind of right, but we're coming from a different perspective because at the end of the day, I can't disagree with anything you said or anybody else said because this is just beyond words. Like I still feel like the energy of like my stomach growling because of these kids. But at the same time, how do we prevent this from happening to future kids? We have to stop the problem within it. And that means even if we don't get everybody, we're going to get somebody. And if it's going to take time for us to work at it, hone the program, get it better, and over time it gets better, that's what you do. I had work that I went to that every day you do the same thing over and over to try to teach these kids how to do something in the right way. A lot of times they didn't get it for a very long time, but eventually after doing it over and over, it works. And you have to understand that there's some people, the way they grow up, they don't have the internal thing that a lot of us do to stop themselves. You said that too. And we are trying to now put it in place where they learn. So the cycle does not continue. And I know that I talked a lot, so I'm just going to leave it there. But we just have to break.
Can I add one thing, Diva?
Okay, wait, let Wayne speak and then.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Adele, I respect you. I think you're very knowledgeable. I think you're highly educated. But this mental health, that seems like another topic for another day. Because if that's the case, everybody in prison, who in their right mind would go out and shoot somebody? Okay. Who in their right mind would do this? Okay. So that seems like another topic for another day, because we can't always bring in mental illness for somebody that does something. Say you take a pedophile. Okay. Mental illness. Okay. So you get a mental illness and they go in there and they come back out and then they rape not your child, but somebody else's child. You know, okay, when does it end? I'm not saying, and what you're saying is absolutely right. But that's not something like, okay, we all know that. We know that the prison systems aren't, they don't have the facilities to house these people and everything. Well, society don't have the facilities to hold them on the outside either, to be out here terrorizing people. So that's all I'm saying. What you're saying, I agree. But it just seems like another topic for another day. It just, to me, it don't apply to this case. But I love you anyway. A big hug to you, Dale.
I love you too. I love you too.
Okay, go ahead, Nikki.
I just wanted to add that it's difficult, I would say. Certain social issues, you know, we see it in a movie, and if they continue to have that same role repeated the way it's repeated in movies, then people think that they have a good grasp on it. And it's difficult for people to really understand that you can be severely mentally ill, right? Because I agree with Mr. Wayne. If you're doing all of these types of crimes, something is wrong with you. So all of these people need to belong, go to prison or go away at some point. But the other part to that, so it's difficult for people to say or to understand, okay, this person is mentally ill whenever they're doing something, meaning their behavior suggests that this person really does know what's going on. So like Diva was saying, he's covering his face, he's feeding the dog, he's doing these things that we would say, well, if you know enough to feed your dog, if you know enough to take your dog out to the vet, if you know enough to do all of these other things, then you know enough to know that you shouldn't treat these children this way. And it's unfortunate, but sociopaths and psychopaths, they do all of those types of things. And it makes absolutely no sense, especially if you're watching a movie and what they're showing you is Rain Man, or what they're showing you is people that are, I don't want to say like medicated out of their mind, like zombies. And then people think that's what mental health looks like. No, mental health looks just like everybody on this panel. If you really want to be 100 with it, to be completely honest, what is it called? The manual statistical something, I forget. The diagnostic statistical manual, the DSM. Having anxiety is a mental illness. So let's just be very clear. For all of the people out there that are like, I don't care about mental health, and they want to throw that word to the side.
I don't think they're saying.
No, not you, or no one on this panel.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think many people saying they don't care.
No. I'm not applying that to this situation at all. I'm not applying that to this situation. I'm saying that so that people can it's easier to grasp it if it comes to your doorstep, right? So if you are involved with someone, say your son has autism, you're going to have a sensitivity to it. You're going to have more compassion, so on and so forth.
Okay, hold on 1 second, Nikki. I want to stop you there.
Okay.
Because I have a sensitivity to it, even if it doesn't hit my doorstep. I really do, right? But where I'm unsensitive and not sensitive is when people want to utilize for their convenience certain diagnoses and situations to get them out of trouble that they knew good and well what they were doing when they went to do it.
Right.
And I want to just add this too in terms of the prisons, right? I do not disagree that there's big money in prisons. And I had no idea until I knew, because somebody wanted me to do per diem in the prisons, and I was like, "Ooh, not for me." I want to, but I didn't know until then how many prisons there were in New Jersey. And one of them is our Rawway prison, and it takes up blocks. That prison is huge, okay? And there's lifers in that prison. So what I'm saying to you is that I get everybody wants to talk about how, they make big money off the Black people in the prison. My thing is, forget about what they making off of us in the prison. Why you doing stuff to go to prison? And everybody is not in there because the man took them down. Everybody, hold on now. We're gonna talk. Let's keep it real on this Sunday. Everybody is not in the prison. Hold on, Adele. Let me speak. Everybody is not in the prison because the man took them down. You went and got the drugs. You were selling the drugs, so you got busted, and now you got to go to prison. You carry the illegal weapon. You got caught with the illegal weapon, so now you got to go to prison. You was drinking and driving. You was drinking and driving and got busted 3 to 4 times, and now guess what? You got to go to prison. And that's not black, white, yellow, orange. Now, we can go a little deeper and say, oh, well, they get heavier sentences. I ain't going to disagree with that. All I'm saying is you cannot go on making big money. Hold on, guys. Let me finish my thought. You making big money on the prisons, this, that, and the other. Well, why was you doing a crime to end up in a prison anyway? So let me tell you this, what my family did, because we used to have back in the day, before everybody was on the cell phone, and you sat down and you had to eat dinner with your family, okay? We got lessons at the dinner table. You can't do like they do, okay? We got all kind of different lessons. You have to walk the straight and narrow. If you get caught, you will get partial time, okay? Don't find yourself out there doing XYZ. Go to school, get an education, or figure out what you want to do, whether you want to do a cosmetology, but you're going to have to do something, okay? So we got taught all kinds of lessons in the home when we have family dinners, okay? So it starts with you. It got to start in individual homes. We're never going to be able to have a government program that's going to force people to let us come in the home and teach a kid right from wrong. It starts with whoever's raising that kid. And yes, drugs in the jails is all the brown people, they locked up in the jails. But most of those brown people, they did some type of crime to find themselves behind the bars. Now, Trent, because Trent is fighting with me right now, and Trent, I'm trying to connect with you and see what's going on here.
Trent got a whole paragraph.
Hold on 1 second. Trent said, even though people can have their fundamental values affected by poor mental health, you're ignoring the nuisance is about spontaneous emotional action.
That's true.
But hold on now. We have to go from this case we're talking about. What is spontaneous about starving 6 kids and feeding the 2 dogs? What is spontaneous about that? Ain't no spontaneous emotion. That kid said, I'm locked up every single day in this cage. What is spontaneous about your kid having 2 black eyes, being slapped up with belts in a pot? What is spontaneous about that? But yet you going on and you in a video, you some rapper, and you got the pictures with money and all of that. Now I can't do this with y'all this on this.
I think
this supposed to be a calm sun. Hell.
No, Diva, I think you're focusing on that word, but I think the word that he's really saying is the nuance, is what he's saying, because mental health, like I said, any social issue is big, like healthcare or homelessness or hunger, whatever you want to call it, is very nuanced, and you can't paint it with one brush. And I think I just want to say this one last thing, Diva. I think what Adele, both of you guys, like I say, everybody's right. I think both of you guys are right in what I think Adele was getting at, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. I think she's saying that we need both. I think she's saying that you commit a crime, we do need to send you on to the jailhouse,
Yes.
and you need to serve your time. Hold on, Adele. Hold on. And I think what Diva is saying is 100% right too, because Diva's like, no, we're not letting you off of this because you smart enough to go, like she said, go on your Instagram or whatever and throw the dollars at the thing. So it's like, it's hard for people to take it apart. And I think what Diva's having a problem with is you're separated, or she feels that you're trying to separate it and say, no, we need to just focus on their mental health. I think what everyone is trying to say is that we're going to make sure that this person is punished, let's say it like that, for what he did to these kids or whomever it is that he did it to. And Adele is just saying we also need to just make sure that we are addressing the mental health that goes along with it. But I do think what Diva's saying has merit in terms of there are some people, we know there's multiple mental health illnesses that you can do nothing about, meaning it's lifelong. Like if you're schizophrenic, you can do things to kind of manage it and treat it, but for the remainder of your life, you have schizophrenia. It's not going to go away. You know what I mean? So it's like what Diva, I think, is saying is getting that too. It's like we putting them in this jail, and yes, we're punishing them, but it's not like these people are going to change. So letting them out is never going to be an option, especially when you have someone that, anytime you're doing what this person has done, it's all egregious. So it wouldn't matter if you did it to a 3-month-old, because trust me, working in the foster care system, you see it all. If you did it to a 3-month-old or 80-year-old or anyone in between, it's egregious. So you never need to get out of prison, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't address the mental health part of it. I think it's what Adele is trying to say.
And I think that we can address the mental health, but just like there are programs, and that's my thing, I guess, that I'm not really getting with about letting them out and go to a program. There are programs in the jail that you can go to and okay, so that's what you were saying, Adele. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I agree with that. Maybe the programs in jail could help them, but those are things that that's time and work that needs to be served behind the bars. By the time you come out,
nothing out. They're not allowed out because they did a crime. Why would they be out? Everything has to be in the jail.
Well, I'm talking about all situations, not this specifically. All situations. Some people don't deserve.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Some people don't deserve full time in jail or life sentences. To me, this situation is a life sentence. But for those who don't deserve it, they need to serve their quote unquote mental health treatments in jail. So when they come out,
that's right, they're healthy.
They can come out and pass the certificate, the requirements that are required to say, okay, we can bring you back out in society and you know how to behave. Then yes, I think that's what we were all getting to. But I think
because they got hold on,
mental health is a very sensitive situation because everybody's been using it to get out of everything.
Yes,
but you can't, it makes it worse.
Hold on, guys, because I got H is in the building. I'm gonna let H speak. And y'all messing with my mental health.
Nobody playing with you. I'm not playing with you.
H, what are your thoughts?
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Well, firstly, I just wanted to say, like, I've heard about this case and it's beyond awful, absolutely beyond awful. For me, the father, straight to jail, put it under the jail. Let's make sure, let's even take away his reproductive abilities, because you see, it's okay to say,
I know that's right.
It's okay to say, let's put them in jail, but then the greatest acid test is to let them back out. And when the acid test is a child, it's too much of a risk, so they can stay there. Also, the girlfriend, the one that got her child, she needs to go as well. And then to touch on the point about the mental health, in this case, in my opinion, I don't think it's applicable because ain't nothing wrong with them people there. But then I do hear what Adele's saying. How do we solve the problem? How do we break the cycle?
Let me block this person.
Yeah, that's a troll. Like, seriously?
Oh, we blocking people? I didn't know we could do that.
Oh, well, we blocking somebody that's saying some nonsense like that person did. But go ahead.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that was basically my point. That's all I wanted to say.
I did, Emmanuel. Thank you. I did. Thank you. So it's a lot. It's a lot. I didn't expect the Sunday to go down like this, but you know what? We gotta have these conversations. And I do think, unfortunately, because there was, not for nothing, with Erica Jane's husband, now all of a sudden he got Alzheimer's. He doesn't know his name and where he's at and all that, because he's being accused of, stealing from his clients. Now all of a sudden his brother got to take care of him. All I'm saying is that, and I get it. We're on the car together. We're in the car together. Y'all may be in the front, I may be in the back, but we are at least on the car together. So I understand your side of it. But I do understand that a lot of lawyers and a lot of people, they play with the mental health diagnosis when they want to get out of trouble, when they know good and well what they did when they was doing it. Right? Okay, because just like I said with Erica Jane's husband, all of a sudden now you don't know your name. You was good all of this time. You was this top lawyer, knew what you was doing. Now you busted from stealing from all the victims and just playing games with the millions of dollars. And now all of a sudden you like, who am I? Where am I?
Stop it. But this is the thing though, Diva, and I do agree about Erica Jane's husband or whatever the case may be. But I also know that, and I know you say you worked in a hospital, so the doctor, the psychiatrist, they're going to evaluate you. So they can't just say, oh, I'm bipolar. There's criteria that goes along with it. So if they are just pretending to be crazy, I guess, or whatever the word is that you want to use, if the doctor is, being above board, they're not going to be able to be like, oh, this person has this disorder or that disorder.
I'm gonna be honest with you though, right? It's subjective, and every doctor's not shady, and some people, they know enough how to manipulate people.
100%. And I also know that
some of these doctors, they get scared of the patient and they just put whatever diagnosis because they scared. I've seen it all.
I know. You're right. You're 100% right. But I'm just saying, usually you need I think in Erica Jane's case, in my opinion, I 100% agree, because you suddenly have this onset at 80 something years old. Like, stop it. Most mental health, you get diagnosed either in childhood or early adulthood. So like,
people can snap. People can have a snap. They can have
no, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying for like Alzheimer's, I wouldn't say it's a mental health issue, but it definitely messes with your brain, right? So it impairs you in a way.
Huh? Yeah, so it's mental health. But
no, I know, but I'm saying it's not the same as like it's your brain is deteriorating. So it's a health problem that goes into a mental health space because of the health problem. That's all I'm saying. But I'm saying that you typically don't get whatever he got at 80 something years old. Like, I think that was a scheme and a plot. And I was just going to say this last thing. If you are a person who isn't above board, then, and you have enough money, you could pay the right doctor to say whatever it is that you want them to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely sad, but let me just hold on 1 second, Adele. Hold on 1 second. Motor culture, that was the power of God that happened. God orchestrated for these officers to come to that door. No, the wife or whatever she was, wife, prostitute, girlfriend, she called the cops. She called the cops and told them to go there because he threatened her, and he also said to her, he had sent her a picture because he beat the one kid so bad he thought the kid was deceased. So she sent the cops there. And that's why, if you notice in the video, you might have missed the video. The video said, we already spoke to your parents. It's okay. Open the door. They wasn't lying to the kids. They had already spoke to the parents, right? Yeah. So listen, guys. Whew. Okay.
Can I just say one thing? A few seconds.
Yes.
A lot of thing that happens is that we're using the movies to when we're thinking about mental health. You can't just get off and go in society and live if you get a mental diagnosis. You're still locked up. Even if it's a mental health jail, it's still jail. You're locked up. You're not going to come out. I think this is what I'm finally realizing, that you guys thought I meant that the person would
No. I'm not confused, Adele. I'm not confused. Okay. I'm not confused by any means at all. And all of those that and you could look in the history of this, all of those two that was sent to a mental health facility versus jail or something like that when they did something, all of them don't just stay locked up forever.
But
the guy who did.
I'm telling you something I know. It's not a separate. It's not you. You said facility. We're talking about like the idea. The only thing I was saying to change is the idea that all jail should have it as part of it, because there's no way for there to be a separate mental health community that just have all these people. Like right now, the jails are overcrowded and private people are getting paid for it. So that's why they're not putting it there. The idea is that we need to mandate it and have them be responsible in treating these people because they're getting enough money for it. But on top of that, though, the whole idea is that we need to stop thinking that because we're going to help people, that means that they're not being punished.
What Adele is trying to say, and then you can tell me if I'm wrong.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. I'm not slow, stupid, or dumb.
Oh, that's not what I mean.
Hold on 1 second. I understand what you're saying. So I don't know why we keep backtracking and thinking that I don't understand. I understand what is being said. I'm not being slow at all. Give me a minute. I'm not being slow at all. But we're mixing conversations, as Wayne is saying. We're mixing conversations. And in addition to that, we can talk reforming the jail system as one conversation, because that's a whole nother conversation in and of itself. That's a whole nother conversation. There's people that just don't get regular health care in the system. There's a guy whose family was fighting because the inmates wrote the family and said, this man is dying. Y'all need to try to do something, get something done to help your brother. So, it's not just about the mental health people not getting the right help in jail. Nobody does. Okay.
Can I say one thing, Diva?
No, hold on, because I don't want to continue with this conversation because we're branching off into a multi-level conversation, and y'all thinking I'm not understanding you, and I'm connecting clearly. But I'm saying that there's so many levels to this thing, and we can't just tell, we need to get them to pay for the mental health in the prisons. They need to pay for more than the mental health. They need to pay for just general health. There are people in there with cancer and all kinds of other conditions that are not getting help either. So it's not just, we got to reform and do the mental health. If you look into the prison, there's a whole lot of other things going on. Rikers Island in New York, they need a whole bunch of people to take out. The last I checked, I stopped looking at it. The last I checked, they wanted someone to take over that prison because there's so many things. People were unaliving themselves because the conditions were so bad there.
Wow.
Let alone mental health. Google it right now. People were unaliving themselves because the conditions were so bad there, and even the correctional officers were being messy.
Wow.
Okay? So prison is prison. And I'm not saying it's right. I think it's dead wrong. I think your punishment is that you went to jail, prison. But there are some people who treat you even worse once you're there to give you more punishment. So it's not just about Adele's being it's not just that. It's not just that, we need to put mental health in the prisons. The prison itself needs to be reformed. But I'm just saying in this particular case, yeah, they're going to need mental health, and we can give it to them while they're in prison. And yeah, we got to make the people who run the prisons do things towards mental health, but that's not the only thing they need to help with. They need to help with these correctional officers that are bringing the drugs in the prison. Like I'm not being slow here. I get it. I know what's going on. I see it. Okay. So let's move on because we're about to close out with this last story. I'm not even going to get to all of them. The last story is a family in India. I knew someone in prison with prostate cancer, stage 4. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. There's a major effort to have the federal government take over Rikers. I'm telling you, Rob, because people were unaliving themselves. Imagine you're a prisoner who is so bad in there that you rather take your own life than to continue to live under those conditions. Because the people was the people were getting AR'd in there in prison. They were getting AR'd. It was a lot going on, but I don't want. Yeah, thank you. Next up on the docket, thank you. Next up on the docket, and we're closing out with this. A family in India sold their baby for an iPhone. Why? Because they wanted to do social media content. Okay. Let me just share this real quick. I'm not even going to read the whole story because we're going to go around. It's the same nonsense. And not to be funny, these people are not mentally ill. They're sick. They're sick, okay? So Indian couple sold baby to buy iPhone for Instagram. They wanted to do Instagram content, okay? The mother apparently said the pair wanted to use cash made from selling their 8-month-old son to travel and create online content on app. Okay. Now I'm not gonna read through this whole story because we've been through a lot, but these two were sick. The mother got busted, the person who bought the kid got busted, and this is all because you want to be Instagram famous. Read the story. I gotta update my descriptions later with all the details, but this is real, people. This is not a joke. You sold your baby so you could get an iPhone because you wanted to be, pretty much, I'm summarizing it, Instagram famous. Okay. Wayne, what is your thoughts? And we're closing out on this.
You know, over there in India, they do a lot of crazy stuff. They'll sell their kidneys for money. They'll sell their organs to get some money. Maybe this was, she thought she could get this phone and do some content and make some money for a family. It's awful no matter where you look at it. And I'm just being, I just try to look outside the box, because these people are impoverished. I mean, anytime you'd be willing to, and they stand in line to give up an organ. And it's Americans in line waiting for them. So if they do it for an organ, and possibly can give up their life, hey, what they do to their children. That's it.
Thank you. In my opinion, are you there?
I really hate this story because when did we put a price on children's life? Like, how can you do that? I wouldn't care if I can't make content at all. Why would you sell your kid? And 8 months old? After you don't care for that child for 8 months, how can you turn off your emotional connection to him? And who is this sick son of this? Oh, I can't with this one, Diva.
I cannot either. We'll move on. Denzel, what are your thoughts?
I'm pissed off with that. No, I'm sorry, Diva. I'm sorry, but this story pisses me off. They're gonna really sell their child for a phone to do Instagram? Like, Instagram ain't that important. I remember it was a similar story. I think it was a long time ago. You probably heard about it. I bet you heard about it. I remember this woman, she sold her daughter for some drugs.
I do remember.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Lock them up. Lock the mother, the father, lock them up. And I hope that child gets help, because that's messed up. Their own parents got rid of them because of an iPhone they want to do Instagram on. Like, that is ridiculous. They need to go to jail, and I hope they suffer. I hope they suffer, and I hope they get their karma. God don't like that right there. That's sick. Are you kidding me? Over an iPhone? Really? Are you gonna sell your child for an iPhone? Are you kidding me? That's sick.
Crazy.
That's it, Diva. That's it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. H, what are your thoughts?
I actually read this story, and if I remember it rightly, I think they had a 7 or 8-year-old girl as well that they were trying to sell. So I've got nothing more to say.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Adele, you're up.
One word. Wow. That's
yeah.
it.
Right. Nikki, you're up.
This is, this is Sad Sunday. Is that what we having today?
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm sorry.
Because let me just tell you something. First of all, Wayne, I don't know what you over there eating, but I feel like there's cornbread and I feel like there's greens and neck bones somewhere. I suddenly smell it. And I'm over here with Patty's sweet potato pie. And then not even want to be talking about arguing with Adele, who has the sweetest heart, about mental illness for 3 hours. Like, I cannot with y'all. Y'all are messing up my day. No, I'm joking. It's sad, it's tragic, and you know, I hate saying this, but it's the reason that I became a therapist, because I worked so many years in child welfare with people that do things so heinous to their own children or allow others to do heinous things to their own children. I would sit in court and listen to a mom talk about, well, you know, because she would like prostitute out her 12-year-old and she has, you know, these STDs, and how does a 12-year-old get that? Because the mom is allowing, you know, just prostituting her child out. But, you know, I'm waiting on my, you know, case. So it's like you sit there and you listen to this stuff, and it's just like, you would think that people wouldn't do this, but it's not all like we said earlier, mental health is not all drugs. Some people are just not good people. Like I think, in my opinion, it was saying something about how can you do that? How do you lose the connection with your child? There's plenty of people that never had a connection with their child from the jump.
Unfortunately, true.
And now we have this, I guess, word for it. And I'm not saying it's all encompassing, but I think, what do they call it now when women postpartum or something like that?
Depression.
Where they can't physically, emotionally attach. And it's just so bizarre to me, because I'm like, you carrying around a baby for a whole almost year, but it's a real thing. So I don't have no compassion. It's really
but even people that have postpartum depression, though, Nikki, they to some level want to connect with their kid.
No, I'm not. That's why I said I'm not comparing the two. I'm saying I think that there's a word for it now, because I think back in the day, people were scared to say, I'm not connected with my daughter, because people are like, what you mean? You know what I'm saying? You just had this baby. How are you not connected? I'm not talking about those people, because you're right. Those people want to connect and don't understand why they're not. These people that we're talking about right here, these people are just sick individuals. And I feel like if you do harm to children, elderly, or people who have like IDD, intellectual disability, that type of stuff, I just feel like there's no excuse. You need to go to jail for the rest of your life. There ain't no reason for you to ever get out when you're knowingly, intentionally going out of your way to misuse, mistreat someone like that. They can't fight back. I can't. There's a lot of compassion I can have and lots of empathy, but in those 3 lanes, I really do not care what happens to you. I hope you go to prison. I hope all the prison horror stories happen to you, that you know that you maybe can think back on this and maybe say to yourself, why did I do that? But I hope you still never get any release, any rest, any real, like, anything in prison. I'm like, limit his food. He only get water and bread. Like, I can't. Anyway.
You put your kid in a cage, now you're gonna be in one.
I agree.
We're closing out. I just want to show you somebody I follow on Instagram. This guy, I want to say, he went to prison for 10 years. I want to say, I got to look back in the story. I'm talking about the run in the red pants, right? Went to prison for 10 years. He started out in Brooklyn. They did all calisthenics, and he would train people for free, right? And then he came up with his own product. It's called Rip Right, right? And it's this thing with the exercise or whatever. I only bring this up to say is that when you want to change, and he talked about how in prison, I believe he has a YouTube channel also, but he talked about how in prison, it's not set up for success. It's not set up to rehabilitate you. It's not set up to help you, right? But if you got the mindset that you're not going to come back again, you're not going to do this again, you're going to have to learn how to help and rehabilitate yourself. And let me tell you this, even on the outside world, sometimes there's but so much a doctor can do. You have to want it too. And you're going to have to want to change. But I just say that there are some success stories that people that's been to prison. This man is one of them. Literally became a millionaire, made his own product, and does calisthenics and teaches a whole community of people calisthenics. And I want to say he has recently moved to Florida. Anyway, I just brought that up to say that, you know what? When there's a will, there's a way. If you want to change, you can change, but it has to be something within you. And I think that some people, they're just psychotic and sick. And when that is the case, goodbye, good riddance. We got to put you in a jail, throw away the key, and say some prayers for you. And, you know, and hope the counselor can help you while you're in there. And I love all of y'all for being up here with me. I truly
appreciate it. Mental health is the same thing, Diva.
Huh?
mental health is the same thing. You can get somebody help for mental health, but it's up to them to keep up with it after they get out. So that's the reason why it's like it is.
Yeah, it is. Facts. And listen, over here, guys, we get down with the get down. But we don't catch feelings, we just catch the train. And then when the train stops, we all love each other and we come back again for some more. So I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate your input in the conversation, because we wouldn't have these great conversations if we all was on the same path anyway, right?
So can I ask 2 questions before you close us out, Diva?
I got to go get the kids stuff for college, and he's been waiting for me, Nikki. Okay. But hurry up, quick.
So I was just first gonna ask, is this your trainer for your arms? Because I noticed when you wear those sleeveless shirts, your arms are like looking really toned and stuff. So I don't know if you're using the second question is
that is not my trainer. I had contacted him, but he has moved from Brooklyn. He lives in Florida now. I had contacted him when he was in Brooklyn because I noticed they did everything free, and I was going to bring my son. And so he connected me with somebody in Jersey. But what I love about this man's story is, I promise you, the group of people, there are people that do everything like outside. They do all calisthenics. And he does do some weights every now and then, but mostly everything with his body is calisthenics. And if you follow his channel, there's another guy that he's in his 60s, and there's another guy that's in his 70s, and it's all calisthenics. And this guy is Muslim, but he just talks a lot about your mindset and doing all kind of stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just saying that, yes, I do agree. Like, mental health is everything, but you have to participate in your own mental health. It's not all just programs, right?
Just
I
like regular health.
Meditate a lot, working out or whatever. I follow positive people like that, because it helps me stay on path. If this man could have did a decade in prison, who has an excuse? Who has an excuse?
Right.
That's literally, and I think he did more years, but I know it was at least 10. And he's a young guy. This man did a decade in prison. And then we got people out in the streets who can go to school, who can do this, who could do that, who could read a book or whatever, and they make up every excuse. The man did a decade in prison. And when he came out, he wasn't charging people to help them get in shape and to exercise. He was, meet me at the park 5 o'clock in the morning, meet me at the park 12 noon, meet me at the park this, and teaching and training these people how to work out. So he gave of his time for free. Then he made this product, and now this man is a millionaire. But anywho, and everybody that's within his circle or whatever, he always preach about how he wants them all to win, right? So it's not just about him. And that's how all of us should do. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. The kid is waiting on me. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for coming for this special Sunday. Okay. And I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Love you, Diva. Love you all.
See you, Diva, Del Opinion,
Bye-bye.
Denzel, Nikki.
So what I'm supposed to do with this sweet potato pie that I have right here?
From where?
Am I